A goalless start to 2026 for Liverpool against Leeds United here at Anfield this evening. Let's get the thoughts of the boss now. Arne Slot is speaking with Sky Sports.
Arne, another frustration against Leeds United, but I imagine this time it's a different frustration against them with this result?
Yeah, different, because last time we conceded in extra time and twice we were, first of all we were 2 goals up and afterwards 1 goal up, 3-2. But the end result of both games is the same, it's a draw, and that's a disappointment.
The 19 shots that you had on goal, was it the fact that you just didn't create that clear-cut opportunity for yourselves? Is that something that's frustrated you as well?
Yeah, it was not completely a surprise to me, because it's not the first time this season where from all the ball possession we have, we do generate chances, but I don't think it's enough, or maybe it should be enough if you look at the XG, but I think we should be able to create more. And yeah, it's we all know how hard it is to unlock a low block, and we all know what you need for that. You need pace, 1v1, individual quality on the sides to take players on, what we saw with Jeremy Frimpong, for example, today a few times. Or some other teams unlock low blocks also with set pieces, and we were very close with Virgil. But we didn't, and I think this season multiple times we've conceded a goal in a game like this, and it even led to a loss. But that's the positive thing of today, that we kept a clean sheet, and that's why we have a draw today.
You kept that clean sheet, and also you're on this run, and that run continues, which is also a positive you take into the next game.
Yeah, it's better than to be on a run with only losing, but it's not that I'm completely very happy with a draw at home against Leeds, although they are in a very good run as well. But yeah, you're hoping for more, but this is the reality, and we could have had more. I think there was one obvious moment in the first half where we didn't go to the floor, which I can understand, because every time when we go to the floor we never get a penalty, so I can understand my players staying on their feet. But yeah, those are the margins. I see other teams going down in situations like that, but we don't, not today at least. And yeah, then I don't think if you don't go down, you can't get a penalty. But we've gone down when fouls were made multiple times this season where we didn't get a penalty as well.
Is that something then you've spoken to Hugo about from this game?
No, not yet. No, in general we do speak about it. Sometimes that I see in other games players going to the floor quite easy and getting a lot of free kicks or other moments of that. But this is who we are. I think against West Ham, Paqueta tried to do everything to get his second yellow, and Ellison tried to, and he's not playing with him. Yeah, he's playing with him for the national team, but he tried to help him not to get a yellow. But yeah, it's in the end he got a second yellow, Paqueta over there, but it didn't help us today that we were the team that we are. And then, of course, if other fans or people look into it, you will always find 1 or 2 moments when we probably go to the floor when it wasn't a free kick. But in general, I think what we saw today from Hugo is who we are.
When you look at it overall, not trying to come up with reasons why it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, but training time on that training pitch is limited, isn't it, because of the amount of games that you're having to do. Is that something that you'd like to work more on, just what you've been talking about, not about the diving, but but what you've been, the frustration of this afternoon, to have that time to work so you can improve? It's not so much the results, it's the performances.
I think the last few weeks we had some time to train, and we have a lot of ball possession, and that comes from having clear identity of how you want to play. But like I just said, a low block needs, you hardly see teams unlocking a low block with 15, 20 passes in a row and then score a goal. Again, you can find this if you are dug deep into this, but mainly you see a moment of brilliance from an individual, a quick and fast 1v1, or you see a set piece that unlocks the game. Or in some games you see winning the ball back from a high press, but that was quite difficult to win the ball back on a high press today.
Arne, thank you.
You're welcome.
As always, he gives an honest assessment of the game. You were still frustrated watching that in terms of the penalty, though, Jace. The penalty that wasn't a penalty, of course.
Yeah, he was trying to be honest in his assessment of the penalty situation, but where I don't really agree with him is I don't think you need to go down. I think it should be on the officials to make the right call. If there's enough sort of pressure on the player, if there's enough foul on the player, then we were talking while we were listening to it, you don't need to have an end product to then call it back and give the penalty. Just because he got the ball to Wirtz doesn't make it right. You know, it's still a foul. He's just been honest and stayed on his feet and managed to toe the ball to Wirtz. You know, do the right thing. At least go back and have a look at it.
But
you
that's the frustrating thing. That's exactly why it's been brought in, and then when it's not used in instances like that, it becomes...
You can't use the VAR for fouls. And as Jason said, that's outside the box. He stays on his feet. He then passes the ball to Wirtz and he gives the ball away. He brings it back.
Still bring it back, yeah.
Where's the difference in this? Why couldn't he go, oof, we've got this wrong. He was fouled. He's holding on to him for a good 5 seconds. He then makes a tackle which he gets nowhere near the ball. So he impedes his ability for him to score the goal. So then it comes to Flo. He obviously has the shot which is blocked. He should have gone, right, stop. Let's have a look at VAR because this is a clear foul.
I mean, the question posed to him was, you know, are you going to say to your player, go down?
Yeah.
You know, and he kind of went, well, we're going to have that kind of conversation, but he shouldn't really have to have that conversation. It's a foul. It's like... Yeah. You know, you shouldn't give the player credit for staying on his feet. You certainly shouldn't give him credit for going down. It was a foul. The officials need to get these decisions right, and they're so important. They're big.
It wasn't hard because you could see the holding was there, and the linesman. The holding was there. The foul making no contact with the ball at all, so it was there for all to see.
And it's not just that situation, is it? It's the bigger picture in terms of inconsistencies with officials, because you'd see that in another game. They might go back and look at it and give it, and half the time you never really know what's going to happen, and the players don't either.
And you're kind of saying to the players, well, you're going to have to dive. And on
Which is
on
not
the flip
what we
side,
want.
they're going, we hate players diving. Yeah. So how do you want it? Do you want him to dive to get the penalty when there's enough there, or do you want him to stay on the feet and you're not going to give it? It's like, do your job.
It is, because if Hugo would have been there, and you've seen what it is, and he's gone down belatedly, because he could have done at any given time, the holding, 2 for the tackle, and he's gone down belatedly. People had gone, he's dived, because like he's not really but he's impeded him. And it's just so frustrating.
Incredibly frustrating. I think the frustration will go on all night. But we are getting some reaction very shortly from Jeremy Frimpong. Do not go away, because he's on his way in a couple of minutes' time. Before we do that, let's just take a look at the forthcoming fixtures across January. Of course, it is Fulham, first of all, coming up next. Then a huge one down at the Emirates against Arsenal. Barnsley here is the next game at Anfield. That is a Monday night game on the 12th of January in the FA Cup. Following that, it's Burnley, also at Anfield in the Premier League. Then the Champions League returns. It's a tricky looking trip to Marseille, first of all. That on the 21st of January. Then Bournemouth away in the Premier League. Qarabag here at Anfield, back in the Champions League, before Newcastle come to Merseyside right at the end of January on the 31st. Tomo, some big games in there. How do you see this month panning out?
Difficult. You know, it's not like sort of we're flying when you be thinking, yeah, bring them on. You know, we can accept all them. It's interesting, the Marseille one, which will be difficult. They are not bad. We did speak about them playing against Real Madrid, and they were unlucky in the Bernabeu. And then the Qarabag one, you know, we have had sort of good reports. You know, you go Qarabag, they're actually supposed to be very good. So there's a lot of, but from now on in, we've got to just keep our heads down and try and sort of navigate our way through it.
Yes, Tomo says it is all about momentum when you're going into the games, and if you fly in, there's a fair few there that you wouldn't think would prove problematic, but in the current climate, maybe look a bit more tricky.
I think where we are, I think, you know, our A game at the minute, which which is not an A game as where we want it to be, but where our A game right now, I think, is enough to take on anybody. But I just think it's about recovery now. It's about how that is handled. We get that little spell, don't we, where I'm sure there'll be changes for Barnsley, which you'll probably give you the 2-week period then to rest some of the players that have an extended minutes, as it were, or played a lot of the games recently. So you get that opportunity, but the next one's Fulham, so it's about getting them rested up. There are tired legs out there. It's understandable. There's a lot of football, but it's mentally now, isn't it? It's how you handle it mentally. It's like you've got to go again. Verge said, we go again.